The last vid was over things Stephen Fulton can do to be successful versus Inoue. This vid is going to be things that Inoue can do to be successful versus Stephen Fulton. So we'll start off with the slip counter because that's where the guy was finding a lot of success. We're going to cover a specific type of slip counter that he was landing the most. But right here, he's going to land it over the cross. He's going to slip over into the inside. And since the cross commits so much weight forward, he can't pull back, and so he's lining up directly for that slip counter. The jab, on the other hand, he's able to escape that counter because he's not committing as much weight forward, so he can pull back easily. Fulton does a good job of a preemptive adjustment of moving directly after he throws. So that's a preemptive movement. It's not reactive, because if it's reactive and too much weight is put forward, then he can't react quick enough. This is an interesting clip for a couple reasons. Here, Fulton is gonna slip to the outside to avoid the right hand counter that might come, or the right hand over top or whatever. But that leaves an opening for the left hook. And so you're gonna see whenever he ducks inside or slips inside, the left hand can land, but Higai, for some reason, thought this was judo and he decided to flip him over. So he took, like you saw Higai step that left leg outside, like that was a real judo throw. He got the leverage by sticking his foot outside, but this is an MMA, so we're not gonna do all that breakdown. And as I've talked about before, Inoue is a master with slip counters.
All gas and no brakes. He did everything. He showed speed.
So in this part of the video, I'm going to break down later on what I'm going to refer to as a crucial key, or in other words, an X factor, which is the clinch, and how Inoue can use certain tools to deny the clinch from Fulton, which Fulton uses a lot of times to really stuff up the opponent's offense and regain control of positioning in the ring and regain control of the pace. So here we're going to see a guy deny the clinch, and so he denies it first by getting that forearm and elbow frame on Fulton's neck to stop him from getting in a good position to wrap him up. And then he lands the right hand over top. And if you look at when he's initiating most of his clinches, he does initiate some clinches in open space, but usually he's going to be either against the ropes or it's going to be after he misses a big punch that puts him in a compromised position. And he's most likely to do it if both of those conditions are fulfilled. So a guy's going to track him down into the ropes. The guy's left arm is free, and he's gonna get that left arm inside, use it as a forearm wrist frame to push Fulton's neck back and get the leverage, escape out of that clinch situation.
Guys gotta go to work, right? Against the ropes, Fulton.
That time he uses a more common tactic of leaning their weight on them if they dive for the hips. The most consistent success Higai had with big shots was actually counters to the jab. Even though I broke down the weight distribution, Fulton's offense and defense is built off of his lead hand with jabs, probes, uppercuts, and hooks, but mostly jabs and probes. He throws a lot of jabs and he puts out a lot of probes, and so that means more opportunities and more situations where you can find the timing. And so a guy found a lot of success getting right overhands over the jab. That one's grazing, but we'll go over some other ones that are not.
Instead of staying on the outside, Fulton cannot have his back test. He's built out of granite, in my opinion.
That's going to be another crucial key, is how Inoue is able to deal with Fulton's jab and probes. Then the second to last thing we're going to focus on is something we talked about in the Inoue vid about escaping with your hands down, and how that can lead to some bad outcomes. And both of them get away with it a lot because of their footwork and their agility and them being able to put themselves in good positions. But ultimately it can lead to some bad outcomes, and we'll talk about that at the end of these clips. See right there, he even gets caught with a shot.
This is where
That time he escapes clean.
we're in the third, I think. Instead of staying on the outside and waiting.
In this particular circumstance, you're gonna see a guy use that tracker again. He's gonna hold that left hand out. He's gonna track him down, corner him, get him against the ropes, and now he's making him pay for having his hands down. So you can see him getting away with this mostly unscathed in most situations in most of his fights. But it's those moments where those openings are where you can get punished for it. Same thing with Inoue. He got caught with some shots trying to move with his hands down. And at the end, we'll just look at some of the shots that Higai was able to land by disguising his entries. Well, he's gonna level change.
This fight
go low, and it's going to disguise the 3, and then the trajectory is headed inside, and so he's able to get inside the shield, that single high guard shield that he has. He's able to get inside and land that big left hook.
Is starting to have success.
And those left hooks were set up by jabs to the body and other body shots. And so whenever he level changes, the expectation is he's going low, but in reality, he's actually going high. It's a simple conditioning trick, making your opponent expect one thing and then giving them another. And so that's disguising your entries. And so, yeah, this was just some things that I noticed Inoue could possibly take advantage of in the fight, especially when it comes to the slip counters and stuff like that. I think that's going to play a big role. But the role of the clinch and the role of Fulton's jab are going to be important in deciding the outcome of this fight. So, Immortality Serum out.
How can I die if I'm immortal? Monster in my eyes, I'm immoral. I ain't got no time to be cordial. Ripping up shit, I make decisions.